The crystal chandeliers sparkled above as designer heels clicked against marble floors. Victoria Ashford had arrived, but in the next 60 seconds she would make a decision that would destroy everything she had built. This is the story of a woman who had it all and lost it all because she forgot one simple truth. Victoria Ashford wasn't just rich, she was powerful. A self-made billionaire who had climbed from nothing to everything. Her real estate empire stretched across 3 continents. When she walked into a room, people listened. When she spoke, deals worth millions were made. But success had changed her. On this particular morning, Victoria's black limousine pulled up to the Whitmore estate. The mansion stood like a palace, with its ivory columns and sprawling gardens. This wasn't just any property. This was the deal of the century. $35 million, and Victoria wanted it. She stepped out, her Chanel suit perfectly tailored, her confidence unshakable. This mansion would become her crown jewel, a luxury resort for the elite. She could already see it, but as she entered through the grand entrance, something caught her eye. A woman, white, middle-aged, wearing a faded cleaning uniform and rubber gloves. She was on her knees, scrubbing the marble floor of the main hall. Victoria stopped. Her expression hardened. The woman looked up. Her face was kind, tired. Her hands were red and worn from years of hard work. She stood slowly, a bit startled by Victoria's sudden presence. For a moment, their eyes met, and in that moment Victoria made her first mistake. She didn't see a person. She saw an obstacle. "Excuse me," Victoria's voice cut through the silence like a blade. "What are you doing here?" The woman hesitated. I'm cleaning, ma'am." Victoria's eyebrows raised. "Cleaning? In the main hall? During a scheduled business meeting? I didn't realize." "You didn't realize?" Victoria's tone grew colder. "Do you have any idea how important today is? I have investors arriving in minutes, and you're here, scrubbing floors." The woman opened her mouth to explain, but Victoria wasn't finished. "Listen to me very carefully. I don't know who hired you, but this is completely unprofessional. You shouldn't be wandering around the main areas of this estate. There are service entrances for a reason." A small voice came from behind a marble column. "Mommy?" Both women turned. A little girl, no more than 5 years old, peeked out. She had blonde curls and was holding a stuffed rabbit. Her eyes were already filling with tears. The cleaning woman's face softened. "It's okay, sweetheart. Go back to the mommy," Victoria repeated, her voice dripping with disdain. "You brought your child to work? To a property like this?" The little girl started crying. "Ma'am, if you would just let me explain." "There's nothing to explain," Victoria cut her off. "I've seen this before. Single mothers who can't afford childcare, bringing their kids to wealthy estates, hoping no one will notice. Well, I notice everything." Just then, 3 men in expensive suits walked through the door. Victoria's investors. They stopped, sensing the tension. Victoria didn't even lower her voice. "I want you out of this hall immediately. Use the back corridors, and keep that child quiet. We have business to conduct." The woman's jaw tightened. For the first time, something flickered in her eyes. Not anger, something deeper, something like disappointment. She picked up her cleaning supplies without a word. The little girl ran to her, burying her face in her mother's worn uniform. As they walked away, one of the investors whispered, "Victoria, was that really necessary?" Victoria turned to him with a cold smile. "If you want to run a successful business, you can't let anyone disrespect your time. Not even the cleaning staff." She had no idea what she had just done. The meeting began in the grand dining room. Crystal glasses, imported wine, leather portfolios spread across the mahogany table. Victoria presented her vision with the precision of a surgeon and the passion of an artist. "Gentlemen, the Whitmore estate isn't just a property. It's a legacy. and I'm going to transform it into the most exclusive resort on the East Coast. $35 million is my final offer." The investors nodded, impressed. Papers were prepared. Pens were ready. But something felt off. Victoria noticed the estate manager, an older gentleman named Harold, watching her with an expression she couldn't quite read. Not approval, not disapproval, something else. "Harold," Victoria said, snapping her fingers, "I'll need the owner's signature by the end of today." "Where's the owner, anyway? Still grieving, I assume?" Harold's face remained neutral. "Mrs. Whitmore is on the premises." "Mrs. Whitmore?" Victoria smirked. "The widow? I heard she completely fell apart after her husband died. Probably locked herself away somewhere in this massive house, crying over old memories." One of the investors shifted uncomfortably. Victoria continued, oblivious. "Well, grief or no grief, $35 million should dry those tears pretty quickly. Make sure she understands this is a generous offer. In her condition, she should be grateful." Harold said nothing, but his eyes told a different story. As the meeting continued, Victoria excused herself to use the restroom. She walked through the corridors of the mansion, admiring the architecture. This would all be hers soon. But as she turned a corner, she saw something that made her stop. The cleaning woman, the one from earlier. She was in one of the private sitting rooms, but she wasn't cleaning. She was standing in front of a large portrait, her hand gently touching the frame. The portrait showed a handsome man in his 40s, smiling warmly. The little girl was beside her, also looking at the painting. "I miss Daddy," the child whispered. The woman knelt down, pulling her daughter close. "I know, baby, I miss him too." Every single day, Victoria watched from the doorway, hidden. Something wasn't adding up. The woman had a key ring on her belt, not the simple keys of a cleaning person. These were ornate, expensive, the kind that opened every door in an estate. And the way she moved through the mansion, she knew every corner, every hallway. She walked like someone who had lived here for years. Victoria's mind raced, but her pride wouldn't let her consider the obvious. She stepped into the room. "Still here?" The woman turned, quickly wiping her eyes. She stood, placing herself between Victoria and her daughter. "I asked you to use the service corridors," Victoria said icily. "This is a private family room," the woman replied quietly. "I have every right to be here," Victoria laughed, a sharp, mocking sound. "Every right. You're the cleaning staff. You have the right to clean and leave. Nothing more." The little girl clutched her mother's hand tighter. "Ma'am," the woman said, her voice still calm but firm, "you don't understand the situation." "Oh, I understand perfectly," Victoria shot back. "You're trying to act like you belong here? Let me guess. You've worked here for years and you think that makes this your home? How pathetic." The woman's eyes glistened, not with tears of sadness, with something else. "You should be careful," she said softly, "about how you treat people. You never know who they really are." Victoria scoffed. "Is that a threat from a cleaning woman?" "It's advice, free advice, which is more than you deserve right now." Before Victoria could respond, Harold appeared in the doorway. "Mrs. Witt," he caught himself. "Ma'am, the lawyers have arrived. They need your signature." Victoria smirked triumphantly. "Perfect. It's time to finalize this deal." She walked past the woman without another glance, her heels echoing through the corridor. But the woman didn't move. She just stood there, watching Victoria leave, with an expression that was almost pitying. Back in the dining room, the atmosphere was electric. The contracts were laid out, Victoria's lawyers on one side, the estate's lawyers on the other. "Where's the owner?" Victoria asked impatiently. "I want to finish this." "She'll be here momentarily," one of the lawyers replied. Victoria tapped her manicured nails on the table. Time was money, and she was wasting both. The door opened. Harold entered first. Then the lawyers stood up. The investors stood up. And then she walked in, the cleaning woman. But she wasn't wearing her uniform anymore. She wore an elegant black dress, pearls around her neck. Her hair, which had been tied back, now fell in soft waves around her shoulders. She carried herself with the quiet grace of someone who had been born into wealth and had never forgotten it. Victoria's smile froze on her face. The woman walked to the head of the table and sat down in the chair that had been left empty, the owner's chair. One of the lawyers cleared his throat. "Mrs. Sarah Whitmore, we're ready for your review of the offer." The room went completely silent. Victoria felt the blood drain from her face. Sarah Whitmore looked directly at her. Those same tired eyes, but now Victoria saw what she had missed before. The intelligence, the strength, the pain of loss. "Mrs. Whitmore," Victoria stammered. I didn't realize." Sarah raised her hand gently. "Please, let me speak." Victoria fell silent. Sarah picked up the contract, scanning it briefly before setting it down. "6 months ago," Sarah began, her voice steady, "I lost my husband, David Whitmore. He was the love of my life, my partner, the father of my daughter Emily." The little girl sat quietly in a chair by the door, holding her stuffed rabbit. "When he died," Sarah continued, "I fell apart. This mansion, with all its beauty and memories, became a prison. Every room reminded me of him. Every corner held our laughter, our dreams, our life together. Victoria couldn't meet her eyes. I stopped being myself. I stopped being a mother. I stopped being everything. Until one day, I realized something. David didn't fall in love with a billionaire. He fell in love with a woman who worked hard, who valued people, who understood that money means nothing without character." Sarah stood up, walking slowly around the table. "So I started cleaning my own house with my own hands. It helped me heal. It helped me remember who I was before the money. And it helped me teach my daughter the most important lesson of all." She stopped beside Victoria's chair. "That every person, regardless of their job or their appearance, deserves respect, dignity, kindness." Victoria's hands were shaking. "Today," Sarah said, her voice growing stronger, "I invited you here, not to sell my home, but to find a partner for a charitable foundation I'm creating in my husband's name. A foundation to help working mothers, single parents, people who are struggling but still show up every day with dignity and hope." The room was so quiet you could hear hearts breaking. "I dressed as a cleaning woman to see who you really were, Victoria Ashford. Not the polished businesswoman, not the billionaire, but the person underneath." Sarah's eyes filled with tears now. Not for herself, for Victoria. "And what I saw broke my heart." Victoria tried to speak, but no words came out. "You humiliated me in front of strangers. You mocked my daughter. You judged me based on my clothes and my work. You looked at me and saw nothing, no one." Sarah walked back to her seat. "The answer is no, Victoria. I won't sell you my home. And I won't partner with someone who treats human beings like obstacles to be removed." One of Victoria's investors stood up. "Mrs. Whitmore, for what it's worth, I apologize for being here. I had no idea about any of this." He placed his business card on the table. "If you need investors for your foundation, please call me. I'd be honored to help." The other investors followed. One by one, they apologized to Sarah and left their cards. Victoria sat alone at the table. Sarah gathered the contracts and handed them to her lawyer. "Please make sure Miss Ashford finds her way out." As Sarah moved toward the door where her daughter waited, Victoria finally found her voice. "I'm sorry." Sarah stopped. She turned back slowly. "I'm sorry," Victoria repeated, tears now streaming down her face. "You're right. About everything, I forgot who I was. I forgot where I came from. I let success turn me into someone I don't even recognize." Sarah's expression softened slightly. "I grew up poor. Victoria continued, her voice breaking. My mother cleaned houses just like I thought you did. She worked 3 jobs to put me through school. And today I would have humiliated her too. She covered her face with her hands, sobbing. Sarah stood there for a long moment. Then she walked back to the table and sat down across from Victoria. Victoria, she said gently, this isn't about money. It's not even about this house. It's about remembering that our success means nothing if we use it to hurt others. Victoria looked up, mascara running down her face. I lost everything today, Victoria whispered. My reputation, my deal, my investors, everything. Sarah shook her head. No, you lost a business opportunity. That's all. What you do next, that's what will define you. She pushed a tissue across the table. Your mother would be proud of the empire you built. But would she be proud of the woman you became while building it? The question hit Victoria like a physical blow. Sarah stood up again. I'm going to leave you with something, Victoria. A choice. You can leave here today and go back to who you were. Or you can leave here today and become who you're meant to be. She reached into her folder and pulled out a document. This is information about my foundation. It needs a business mind. Someone who understands real estate, investments, and scaling operations. Someone who knows what it's like to struggle and what it takes to succeed. She placed it in front of Victoria. If you're interested in redemption, in doing something that matters, my door is open. Not as a business deal, as a partnership built on respect and shared purpose. Victoria stared at the document, then at Sarah. Why? Victoria asked. After everything I said, why would you give me this chance? Sarah smiled sadly. Because 6 months ago I was broken, and someone gave me a chance to heal by showing me that what I do matters more than what I own. Now I'm giving you the same chance. She picked up her daughter and walked to the door. Oh, and Victoria? Sarah paused. That video of you humiliating me in the entrance hall? Harold's security cameras caught everything. It would be very easy for that to go viral, for your reputation to be destroyed publicly. Victoria's eyes widened in horror. But I'm going to delete it, Sarah continued, because revenge isn't healing, and you deserve the chance to do better, to be better. She left. Victoria sat alone in that grand dining room for over an hour, the document in front of her, her empire crumbling in her mind, her reflection in the polished table showing someone she barely recognized. Finally, she picked up her phone. Mom? Her voice cracked when her mother answered. I need to tell you something, and I need your help. 3 months later, the Victoria Ashford Foundation for Working Mothers launched in partnership with the David Whitmore Legacy Fund. Victoria had stepped down from her real estate empire, placing it in the hands of her team to focus full-time on the foundation. She spent her days now in community centers, meeting single mothers, hearing their stories, funding their dreams. She wore simple clothes. She listened more than she spoke. She remembered every name. And once a week, she cleaned the foundation's offices herself, a reminder of what truly matters. Sarah and Emily visited one afternoon. Emily ran up to Victoria, who knelt down to hug the little girl. Miss Victoria, Emily said, Mommy says you're a good person now. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. I'm trying, sweetheart. I'm really trying. Sarah placed a hand on Victoria's shoulder. You're doing more than trying. You're succeeding, just in a different way than before. As they walked through the foundation's halls together, Sarah asked, Do you miss it? The empire? The power? Victoria thought for a moment. I miss the feeling of success, she admitted. But I learned something important. Real success isn't measured in dollars or properties or power. She gestured to the walls, covered with photos of mothers and children the foundation had helped. It's measured in the lives you touch, the people you lift up, the difference you make when no one's watching. Sarah smiled. David would have liked you, the real you, the one who was always there underneath. 6 months after that humiliating day in the mansion, a video did go viral. But it wasn't the security footage of Victoria's cruelty. It was a video of Victoria, in jeans and a simple shirt, helping a young single mother move into her first apartment, funded by the foundation. Victoria was carrying boxes, laughing, crying, hugging this stranger who had become like family. The caption read, "This is what redemption looks like." The comments flooded in, thousands of them. People sharing their own stories of being judged, of being underestimated, of finding second chances. And at the top of the comments, a verified account posted, "Never judge someone by their appearance or their circumstances. You never know who they are, what they've survived, or what they're capable of becoming." Every person deserves dignity. Every person deserves respect. And every person deserves the chance to prove that they're more than your first impression. Sarah Whitmore, Victoria, read it through tears. Then she replied, "I learned the hardest lesson of my life from a woman I mistook for a cleaning lady. She taught me that true wealth isn't what you have. It's who you become when you have nothing left to prove. Thank you, Sarah, for seeing who I could be when I couldn't see it myself." Victoria Ashford. The video now has over 50 million views. The foundation has helped thousands of families. And Victoria? She finally found what she had been searching for her entire life. Not success, purpose. Because in the end, we're not remembered for what we own or what we achieved. We're remembered for how we made people feel, for the kindness we showed, for the dignity we gave, and for the grace we extended when someone needed it most. That day in the mansion, Victoria lost a deal worth $35 million, but she gained something priceless, her humanity. And that's worth more than all the money in the world.